Escitalopram. It is a type of antidepressant known as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It's often used to treat depression and is sometimes used for anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, or panic attacks. The present invention provides a process to obtain pure diol compound by preparing oxalate salt, which is useful for the resolution of antimers. While this API is synthesized elsewhere in the world, upward 40 to 50% of the generic API production occurs in China or India. For example, the companies that provides the facilities that have an actively approved DMF, that is drug master file with US FDA, of 21 facilities that meet these criteria, 15 were from India. Dose form oral solid and liquid. It comes under the brand name of Cipralex and Lexopro. And the API suppliers are Jubilant Generics, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, Tokyoyama Corporation, and Newland Labs. Paliperidone palmitate is a LAI formulation of the atypical antipsychotic, the primary active metabolite of risperidone. It was approved by FDA for acute and maintenance therapy of schizophrenia disorder in 2009. This medication is used to treat certain mental and mood disorders. It works by helping to restore the balance of certain natural chemicals in the brain. There are a number of existing methods for producing this API. In most of these processes, paliperidone is reacted with declenone chloride to produce this API. With these techniques, however, 9-hydroxy group of the paliperidone is converted to an oxo group which forms an undesirable ketone impurity. This impurity, which may lead to undesirable toxic side effects, was mentioned as a major impurity of paliperidone in 2007 MR report. It was identified and considered as toxicologically qualified up to 0.62%. Because of this impurity has to be removed from the final API, most of the references in the prior art involves the use of the extra purification step to remove this ketone impurity, which not only strengthens or lengthens the production time but also decreases the yield. On May 18, 2015, a new formulation of paliperidone palmitate was approved by FDA under the brand name of Envega Trinza. A similar 3-monthly injection of prolonged releases, the suspension was approved in 2016 by the European Medicines Agency, originally under the brand name of paliperidone Janssen, later renamed as Trivicta. The listed suppliers are Lubricant Generics, Intuchem SA, Dr. Reddy Labs, Teva API, MSN Laboratories, Newland Labs, Gland Pharma, and Piramal Enterprises Limited. Lacosamide. It is sold under the brand name of Vimpet. It is a medication used in the adjunctive treatment of partial onset seizures and diabetic neuropathy pain. It is used by mouth or intravenously. Industrial application involving powders and granule materials, electrostatic charges influences drastically the material flowing properties. The triboelectric charges are produced during the flow between the grains and the container. Unfortunately, the triboelectric effect is still poorly understood even at an fundamental level. Moreover, reproducible electrostatic measurements are difficult to perform. The ability of APIs to produce electrostatic charges during the flow in contact with different materials is analyzed with a recently developed instrument called GranuCharge. APIs show complex triboelectric properties. Some APIs charge a lot while other APIs charge less. Afterward, electrostatic behavior of API or excipitant blends is considered. They show that the net charge of the blend is a complex function of a relative quantity of API in the mixture. Moreover, both the quantity and the sign of the charge are found to depend on the material in contact with the powder during the flow. Lacosamide has a global reach. In North America, they focus on USA, Canada, and Mexico. In Europe, especially in Germany, France, UK, Russia, and Italy, and in Asia Pacific, like China, Japan, Korea, India, and Southeast Asia. The top API suppliers providing US DMF are Dr. Reddy's Lab, Gland Pharma Limited, Davies Lab, Aurobindo Pharma Limited, and Newlands Lab. Sugar Medics. It is a selective relaxin binding agent indicated for reversal neuromuscular blockade, blocking medication that cause temporary paralysis and is especially useful for general anesthesia, ventilation, or trial intubation that patient may require for surgery. Sugar provides a new treatment option to reverse the effects of those medications and possibly help the patients to recover sooner post surgery. It comes under the therapeutic segment of muscle relaxant. Intec Sugarmedics NA at stage 2, impurities at RRT 0.89 and at 0.96 are very difficult to remove and attributed to stage 1 intermediate quality. This was accomplished with purification by crystallization and it achieves 85% purity at stage 2 specifications. Prior art process involves the use of dialysis purification, which is neither feasible nor economical at any industrial scale. Therefore, few companies involve preparative HPLC purification and isolation of final product lysophilization, which means the preparative HPLC method is sensitive to many variables, including input and material solubility, pH, and column performance, all of which were largely overcome with appropriate checkpoints in the process. Sugar Medics. It comes under the brand name of Bredian, which is marketed by Merck Shark and Dome, and it was approved by US FDA on 15th of December. Economic impact of improving patient safety using Sugar Medics for routine reversal of neuromuscular blockade in Spain. The budget model projected the economic impact of the introduction of sugar medics in Spain 2009. The estimated budget impact of the routine introduction of sugar medics in their hospital was projected to a net saving of 57.1 million euro annually, and there is demand for sugar medics in the alternate caesarean and it can be cost effective as well. Newland status on the SugarMedic's earlier launch opportunity. A formulator can launch a product with Newland's SugarMedic's API after November 2020 in the key market India, Turkey, Canada, and Brazil. In US market, a formulator can launch a product with Newland's SugarMedic's API by filing ANDA with Para 4, and in European market, a formulator can launch a product with Newland's SugarMedic's API after 24th of July 2023 when the product patents expires, and the top APIs of these suppliers are Solar Active Pharma, Dr. Reddy's Lab, Teva Pharmaceutical, Aurobindo Pharma, and Newlands Lab. Posaconazole is a triazole antifungal agent indicated for treating mucormycosis patients, particularly known as black fungus, in post-COVID complications. Dose form oral solid, injectable, liquid. API technology synthetic. Determination of polymorphic form of API in a suspension could be really challenging because the water phase and the low concentration of the API in this formulation. This API is an antifungal drug available for as an oral suspension. To develop a sample preparation method for polymorphic identification of the dispersed API by increasing the concentration with no compromise of polymorphic stability. For this process, filtration, drying, and centrifugation were tested for separating the API from suspending medium. Centrifugation was selected because it was succeeded in separating posaconazole API with no more polymorphic transformation during the process. It comes under the brand name of Noxafil and Ponazole. The company Everest Organics is up to 20% on launching the posaconazole API to treat back fungus. The company is in advanced stage of commercializing the same. It is the fast-growing API and bulk drug manufacturing company that manufactures and export various APIs product to more than 40 countries, as well as it caters to local demand in Indian market. Bajaj Healthcare announced the launch of posaconazole API used in treating mucormycosis, black fungus, and infection in COVID 2019 patients. So the Bajaj Healthcare has received approval from FDA to manufacture and the market in India, and it will commence its commercial production from first week of June 2021. Suppliers of this API are Solara Active Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, and Newland Lab.
So I'll come to remaining specialty APIs. One of the molecules is salbutamol. So this is their first molecule, when they started the company. This is their first molecule. So it is actually, patented around in 1986. So that is the first patent. So since then they've actually, get registered patent, and still they own the patent, like still they own the generic patent. So I think in salbutamol there were so many companies around. I think more than 150 patents were held by so many companies. So as far as salbutamol, we can see there are huge competitions because it's one of the oldest molecule, and it's been in the industry for more than around 25 to 30 years. So we can say the competition is very high, and so that's the thing. And well, coming to this, salbutamol is is majorly used for treating wheezing and shortness of breath. So it used to treat asthma, so those kinds of diseases. Right, coming to the market, so asthma is actually estimated to be 262 million people were affected in 2019, and the deaths were around 4,61,000. So we can see, there is quite a market there, but the competition is very huge, and I don't think the Newland has any let's say good market share there. So just yeah, so these are the types of formulations exist for salbutamol. So maybe it is spray, aerosol or solution, or inhalant. So final product from the formulation companies. Yeah, so these are the companies which are holding CEPs for salbutamol manufacturing process. So the CEP is actually, it's not a regulatory requirement, but it's an optional one. But it's seen as a more of a it's not a compulsory. It's more like a norm to the European formulation companies. So only only these are the companies who hold the CEP patent to sell salbutamol as a API to other formulation companies. And yeah, so if you see in US, so here US, as I said, there were more than 150 applicants for this molecule. So we can see, quite huge competition in US compared to Europe. So the next molecule is salmeterol. So this is the molecule, contributing to the revenue from I think early 2015 to till now. So for between 2018 and 2000 I think 2018 to 2019, there was some stabilization, and there was some degrowth, not a degrowth, but it's kind of stabilized for the market. But since this COVID-19 since this COVID cases increased, the the diseases related to lungs are quite increasing. So this molecule has kind of re-emerged, and it's quite getting another good share in the market. And Newland is actually finding new customers for these molecules throughout the Europe. So as you can see, these are the approved patent applications to manufacture salmeterol as a API. So only these are the companies, and there are few companies in the next slide. So almost around 20 plus companies have the CEP patents to manufacture this API. So and you can see the date of patent applied. So and you can see the when it is going to expire. So it's basically varies from 3 to 5 years and 6 years. So after it pays the CEP patent again, and you need to get new patent. Okay, so these are the applicants for USA. So the previous applications were for Europe Union, and these are the approved patent applications for USA. So you can see, there are only quite handful of people who have the patent to, sell those drugs. It's actually still this salmeterol is still, still yet to expire the patent for ND applications. I think it's going to get expired in maybe 2022 or 2023. And based on the con calls, the Newland is talking about, we are supplying for one of the another company for formulation companies. Maybe we can assume that maybe they are supplying for any one of these formulation companies. majorly it's Glaxo Group or Teva Pharmaceuticals. Maybe we can assume that they are supplying to either of these two companies, because since they are talking about this new salmeterol since 2016, so at the time the patent is owned by only these two companies. One is Glaxo and another is Teva Pharmaceuticals. So we can say that either of these two companies are purchasing from Neuland, and that's how it goes. And in Europe, only one company has sold the patent right now. It's only Teva. It sold the patent to sell the salmeterol drug in the Europe. So we're coming to propofol. Propofol is basically used as an anesthesia for while we're doing the major surgeries and all. So propofol, we can see there are some quite but if you see the European market, the propofol, the demand for propofol is very less. I think it's around 25 to 29 tons of propofol needed in the European market, and mostly these propofol is supplied by European companies, and we can see there's a quite huge competition for propofol. I think the next slide also contains the companies and patents applied for the CEPs. Yeah, so these are the patents owned by patents owned by the companies. So actually, if you can see the first one, so that is actually the NDA application. So that's patent has expired. I think it's 2014 or 15. Then this all the rows which are highlighted in red, they have and applications. So these are the generic players. After the patent has expired, I think a patent has expired. So these are the players have actually own the the generic patent for this company. So if propofol is supplied to any of the formulation companies, then Neuland is supplying to any of these companies, and there were no patents for generic in Europe, because as I said, the demand in the European market is very less for propofol than US. So there were no patents, generic patents in Europe. So we can see, because the demand is very low, it's actually supplied by the companies which are there in Europe itself. So there were no patents approved in the Europe. So while coming to oriconazole, it's antifungal, to treat antifungal infections. So if you see this oriconazole, this molecule has around 20 plus CEP applications approved through Europe. Yeah, these are the remaining players over there. So if you see NDA and ANDA applications, so there were 35 patents provided provided by US FDA for oriconazole. So if you can see, this VFend is actually the patent owned by Pfizer. The patent is almost on the verge of expiry. I think it's going to expire in 2022. That's why these two, the remaining companies have actually applied before 2 years, and they have the patent to sell those drugs in a generic format. So only these three companies own the patent right now. We can say one of these companies are actually purchasing from Neuland. So this ezetimibe is actually the cardiovascular drug. So it's used to reduce the cholesterol and fatty substance in the blood. So we can say this is actually the very good molecule, because the only one company has the patent right now. Patent is provided very recently. You can see the date. So it provided in March 2020. So we can say they have the exclusivity for 8 years. So until 8 years, no other company has the authority to sell the drugs. So drugs, this drug in the Europe. So we can say that. And also in US, if you take in US, the competition is quite huge, because there were 15 approved applications for this molecule.
Okay, now let's start from the prime APIs, which we'll be talking about now. Now let's talk about mirtazapine. It is antidepressant. This is used. We all know what OCD stands for. Obsessive compulsive disorder. People who have obsession over pre-performing some sort of habits or compulsive actions. That is one other application of it is depression. So to fight depression as well, it is one of the application where mirtazapine can be used. Talking about the complexity of the procedure, the previous procedure actually affected the purity, and also the concentration wasn't satisfactory, because of which the recrystallization was necessary. Now coming to the new process, they have completed the invention that propofol. They are using propanol. It belongs to a certain sort of solvent which has low toxicity, which is also actually been guided by one of the ICH guideline, and it is also miscible in water, and one can extract that mirtazapine from water diluted under alkaline current. So most probably this doesn't makes you required to do recrystallization, which was required in previous process, because it was impure or maybe less pure, or the concentration wasn't that good. Previous process required recrystallization. Now the new process uses propanol, so because of which it is miscible with water, and it is very much good in terms of concentration, so it doesn't need any sort of recrystallization. Not much of an information was available regarding mirtazapine through online free sources. Coming to formulations, around there were like 10 to 12 companies which have got US FDA approval, and the patent has expired in 2004. Now, even in terms of price, the information wasn't there available in terms of USD. So in terms of INR, it is somewhere around 80,000 per kg, which is expensive enough. Competitors, there are quite sort of competitors which are there, around 9 to 10 competitors in India who are manufacturing mirtazapine other than ciprofloxacin base. This ciprofloxacin, which we happen to knew as the molecule which which Newland was producing the most, and the molecule which was giving a large amount of revenue to the company. This one is it, and the use is that it is used for as the therapeutic area is antibacterial. So basically, it would be ending up using for every other sort of bacterial infection, or bacterial infection that happens to a human. So it has, the application also is kind of that diverse. It is used for chest infection, skin and bone infection, then STDs, then conjunctivitis, eye infections. So since this was particularly a sort of antibacterial sort of a molecule, and having that sort of applications, it was always stayed in demand. But also let's address the fact that it was expired early as well. The process requires high temperature. So now coming to the complexity, so the process can't be carried at a normal room temperature. It has to be done at a 90 to 130 degrees Celsius. So that is one sort of a red flag, or maybe complexity that we can look into, and which again it has been repeated over here. It requires reflux temperature, and also the sort of compound that we get, or the formation that we have at the end, is less than 5%. So when you do the same process using ciprofloxacin hydrochloride, using the process claim 1, the ciprofloxacin hydrochloride forming the Formula 1 compound using aluminum chloride. So when the same process is being done by using the aluminum chloride as a catalyst, it exceeds to around 70%. So that is the chain which has overturned, or kind of subsidized the drawbacks that it had previously. Now coming to the influence, I guess this is a very important one in terms of molecule, or we shouldn't be missing on this. So India actually underwent through a survey of looking out for what are the molecules which India is importing most probably, and it happened to be that we were very much dependent on the imports from China. One of the example that I can give is this. If you see over here, imports of the product from China from April 20 to, so it has increased from 117 tons from 2015 to 16 to 377. So this is almost 300, like threefold. 300% has been the increase just in the fact of 2 years. So this is a sort of view which we have heard about. Dumping of a particular product is what we can see here, that China was dumping its ciprofloxacin base in India. So this was been observed by India, and India imposed an anti-dumping duty in the on this Chinese antibacterial drug, in order to put a particular restriction onto it. Now this anti-dumping duties is been applied for 5 years, and this has been imposed from September 2 of 2020. So it is recently. So this is one of the thing gives the global dynamics of how China was dumping a particular molecule in India, and how India retaliated back. Brand name, it is called by various brand names: Ciprocin, Ciproxyl, etc. Around there aren't much players which have got USFDA approval. There are 6 or 7 of it, and also the patent has expired in 2003, but still not many of them have got USFDA approval. And even the list that I have found over here, it isn't being found through USFDA site. It was found most probably on internet. So that is another thing. If we look after the price is not that expensive. Obviously it explains because it is a prime API. More or less it is 27.7 US dollars per kg. Competitors in India, 7-8 competitors. We can see there aren't any much competitors. This was for ciprofloxacin. Coming to tigekrelol, it is an platelet aggregator inhibitor. It most probably is used in order to prevent any sort of heart stroke or heart attack which happens. It is used for acute coronary syndrome, which usually is supplying of blood to the heart. Manufacturing complexity is previously the drawbacks of the process were that the process was very cumbersome, it was very lengthy, and it required a large amount of reagents and solvents. So the new method that came up, it actually replaced it by it turned out to be more industry feasible and economically in a much better sort of a stance than it was previously. It tend to use optimized reaction conditions and optimal use of reagents, avoiding any sort of hazardous chemicals. So previously hazardous chemicals also been used. Now it avoids this by using optimized reaction conditions, which also indirectly implies that there are some optimized reaction conditions that must be required in the current sort of manufacturing process, and it all resulted in high purity and improved the yield. Coming to any important sort of information regarding it, so there was, I guess, this survey that platelet PCR survey that happened, that using prasugrel based strategy is superior to tracricol. So I guess prasugrel based strategy, or this prasugrel, is another molecule which can be used for the same thing same thing for which tracricol is used, and a survey showed that use of that prasugrel based strategy was much superior to tigekrelol, and the stroke this was being done by taking 5 trials by ICER reactors. So this was one of the studies that recently figured out regarding how the efficacy of tigekrelol compared to some other molecule was. Formulation, I guess there are some 8 to 10 companies which have got approved from USFDA. In Europe there are only 2, and the patent also has expired recently, so that justifies that there aren't so many sort of players who have got into the market. Price, couldn't find a price on it. It wasn't easily available. In terms of manufacturers, there are ample amount of manufacturers domestically in India. If you can see, I believe there are almost 25 to 28 manufacturers in India. So to say India could be termed as a very much crowded market when it comes to manufacturing of tigekrelol, we can reduce that. Then coming to levofloxacin hemihydrate, it is again an antibacterial one, like we saw for ciprofloxacin. Again, it treats for bacterial infection. So following is the process which is used for preparing. Rather than going through the entire process, what I'll just point out the important points that at various places it has been seen that the temperature requirement of that process is 700 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. Various process, various solvents are also being used over here. And also if you see that the requirement of temperatures in each and every stage for different intermediates or different stages is different. So one thing can be deduced out of this: at each and every stage at which the molecule goes through, it has its own specific requirement of temperature, so which might make the process very much tedious or cumbersome. Now, any other important point is that the market size is very huge. It is forecasted to reach 1.9 billion by 2025. So previously we have more or less looked around, market size where it was more or less around some sort of 800 or 400 million. This happens to be 1.9 million or approximately 2 billion by 2025. And it is also expected to grow at approximately 4.5% of CAGR just in matter of 5 years from 2020 to 2025. And the biggest contributor to this market share would be APAC region, the Asia Pacific region. USFDA approval, if we talk, there are ample amount of companies, around 15 or 18 companies which are, you've got, formulation companies which have got the approval from USFDA to market it or distribute it in US. Price is more or less $70 per kg, and around, we can see down, not there aren't any major competitors in India, more or less excluding Newland. There are 6 to 7 competitors which we can observe over here. Let's come to Remipril. It is a therapeutic area. It is used for anti-hypertension. So whoever having hypertension in terms of high blood pressure or in order lower blood pressure, this helps to tackle it, and indirectly helps to prevent any sort of stroke or heart attacks that can happen, and even for it is used for kidney problems. Now, the previous manufacturing complexity that had was optically been so it contained. So previously we can say one thing, that it was been carried out under DCC and HOBT peptide condensation, because of which at the end product that we got had this RRR isomer, and this particular component which we are talking about isn't ideally to be contained in such molecule. So this was a drawback that previously, by using those DCC and HOBT which we observed. Now the recent invention shows that it is optically pure benzyl, that by using optically pure benzyl as a biclooctane carboxylate and its salts, is that we are being able to produce the end product without having this RRR isomer that we used to be getting in the previous manufacturing process. Any sort of important information regarding that in globally is that the global prils market, so this Remipril, Quinapril, Cilazapril, these are all called as the pril markets as a token word or as a jargon. So this global market of this is considered to be of 2,591 billion, and expected to grow at 4 points. So it is also a big market to be seen in the coming times. Formulation, there are only 6 to 7 companies which have got approval, 7 to 8 companies which have got formulation companies who have got approval from USFDA. In terms of price, it is more or less 530 US dollars per kg, and only 4 or 5 market players are there in India who's manufacturing Remipril. So definitely a market which is as big as 2,600 billion, and also less competitor. So this is a good space to be in preparing this molecule. Coming to Rivaroxaban, it is also anticoagulant, and it treats vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism, which is in short blood clotting that happens in a human. It is used to prevent that. So the previous there were some several disadvantages. Rather than reading all of them, I just point out the the important ones. We can see is a lower yield of 4.5%. By using the previous process, and it also related, if you see the point F, it was incomplete conversion of intermediary which led to impurity. So the intermediaries which were used, they were not entirely converted successfully, and because of that we were ending up with impurities, and also the lead was 4.5. So this were majorly the important you can say disadvantage. There were more than this. There are around 7 to 8, but these two are the important ones. Coming to scheme 2, or the recent process that came into implementation, it was more efficient, economic, scalable, and impurity free. It actually was able, because it actually directly isolated API reaction without purification of complying ICH quality. So it actually constituted of some 17 in 7-step process. The yield also improved, it became 22%, so we can see the difference. It has went from 4.5% to 22%. And also the purity went to up as close as to 99.85. This was possible because of using commercially available and less expensive materials. I guess this was HPLC. By using this HPLC, I guess this particular change, or which was being possible to achieve high purity and high. The market size, if we see, it has for forecasted for 2021 to it is expected to grow 7.8%. So out of all the molecules that we saw, this can be said as the highest growing sort of a molecule, which has also been, I guess, talked about in the con call. And even the market size, if you see, is 7,000 million US dollars. So a good place to be in. Now, another good thing is that there are only 3 companies which have got formulation companies which has got the approval from US FDA. Also, it happens to be fairly priced. It is on 2,400 per kg US dollars, 2,400 US dollars per kg. But contrary to this, if we see the number of players who are manufacturing Rivaroxaban is very high, since this might have been well-known fact that it is a big market and expected to grow, and not many players can provide, have got the approval. So majority of the manufacturers might have targeted this particular molecule. So you can just see there are more than 25, 28 sort of manufacturers in India who are manufacturing these molecules. So coming to ropinirole base, it is again an anti-Parkinson's disease. So this is, as we discussed even previously, this Parkinson's disease is more or less where you lose your control over muscles or the motor movements of your, of your limbs. So this is used as an application over there. Now talking about the complexity, the process that was used was not appropriate in terms of yield, and also it has enough amount of impurities in it. This happened because this was also been accompanied by hydrolysis, decarbonization, and other such process which were addition to it. So that made also process very cumbersome and tedious. The yield also, after doing all those reactions or additional methods, even after that the yield was more or less 20%. But it definitely doesn't make sure suitable for a large scale production, because of which this current process came into existence, or it was being discovered. It produces highly pure ropinirole base. Here it is said hydrochloride. The reason being, even ropinirole is being produced in 2 variants, base and hydrochloride, but more or less whenever it is being searched upon, hydrochloride is what is being talked about, or the information was more or less available particularly to hydrochloride. So it used certain sort of and also the yield by using the new process was around 40%. They used this sort of molecule along with it, some big name, I guess I won't be able to pronounce that, amine hydrochloride, because of which this was possible to have higher yield around 40% and also making it highly pure. And also it has been talked about that there were many toxic chemicals which were being used previously, so elimination of those also makes the product more safer in terms of application or when it is being consumed. Not much of an information was available regarding it in terms of on free information was available on websites. But the formulation, if we talk about in Europe, it's just one company who has got this green signal from the regulations to market the product. It's Orion Corporation. US FDA, there are sufficient 10 to 12 companies which have got this approval to market the product. Price is fairly priced, 6,400 per kg, so not too cheap but also neither too expensive. If we talk in terms of suppliers in India, there aren't many. There are 8 to 9, I guess, which are producing the ropinirole base. Coming to rotigotine, again it is an anti-Parkinson disease, so I skipped the application as we have discussed it a couple of times. And if we see the formulations on also on this part, only one company has got the approval from US FDA, which is Newpro UCB Incorporated. Again, the same company we see has got approval in even in Europe. So they are selling it, I guess, by two names, but it is more or less UCB Pharma. So it is saying by Neopro and Leganto. So what we can deduce is that one, there aren't any, there are only one company which has it is either patented and under them, so they are the only ones who are getting approval. Second, it is also, it makes is less crowded, which is also evitable in terms of the competitors. For example, like if you see, there are only two competitors that we can notice of, which are preparing this in India. So we can be sure of that even Newland would be supplying to only to UCB Pharma. Coming back to any valuable information, there are currently around, since more or less there were many molecules which were targeting which were in targeting Parkinson's disease. Only if we consider China, there are more than 2 million patients which are just in China, and expected to grow approximately 249 million over 60 years old in China. And approximately, if we see that the people, this disease is particularly centric to people who are more than 60 years old, and the population of these people who are above 60 years old are approximately 249 million. Which is approximately 18 to 20% of the entire population. So China can be considered as one of the big markets where this product can be sold off. And according to 2017 IMS data, the this is old data, but something that was quite useful, very important, that the therapy market of anti-Parkinson is around 2.56 billion. This was around 2017, and it was expected to grow around 3.73%. Let's go to hydrochloride. Sotalol hydrochloride, it is antiarrhythmic. It means that sometimes your heart keeps beating, the blood is not pumped in the right rhythm, because of which your heart beats antiarrhythmic, or it doesn't beat in sync. So this particular molecule is being used to track disorder. Not much of an information was available in terms of what was its influence globally or from China. Formulation, we can assure one thing is that only one company which has got approved in US from US FDA, and it is named as Betapase. The company is Covis. So if we can assume that, it would be safe to assume that Newland would be the supplier. If Newland is making this and supplying it to US market, definitely going to be Covis. Sotalol hydrochloride, if it is being marketed by this other name, Sotalol hydrochloride, there are 5 to 6. Again, there aren't much competitors or much formulators, rather to say so, which have got the US FDA approval. And even in India, if we say, there is only one, other than Newland, there is only one competitor who is making it. So it's a good position to be, and also the molecule is fairly priced. It's around $5,000 per, 5,000 INR per kg. Another molecule is epiperazole and monohydrate. It is antipsychotic, used for bipolar disorder, depression, autism, schizophrenia. So the following process has been laid down, but I'll just try to focus on the important or the steps which so here you can see there is a sterilization which is being required 121 degrees Celsius for at least 20 minutes. So though the time isn't, so the time period for which the temperature needs to be might not be less, but yes, it requires a higher temperature and also required when sterilization takes place. Now coming to any influence, antipsychotic drug size. So if we look for the entire therapeutic area, since information particularly related to this molecule wasn't available, let's just look out to the therapeutic area for which it targets. The drug market size is considered to be as big as 33.69 billion by 28, and it's also expected to grow by 6.2%, which is more or less inclining to a higher single digit number. So this is one of the big markets that one can definitely eye for. On the contrary, if we see the formulation companies who have got the approval, there are ample of them. There are 15 to 18 companies, so it would be very difficult for us to figure out which would be the exactly company Newland supplies to. In Europe also, there are 4 to 5 companies which have got the approval. Looking at its price, it is more or less $1,000 per kg. Not too cheap, but neither too expensive, quite reasonable. But in case when we see the market from the perspective of manufacturers in India, there are ample amount of manufacturer, more or less about 25 manufacturers are there in India itself. So in terms of manufacture, definitely not a good place to be. Coming to the last two molecules, it is alabolic sodium endometriosis. Now, what is the application of it? It is used for the treatment of pain when the woman goes through a menstrual cycle, whatever some complications that she goes through. It is being used to treat that. Much of the information regarding it wasn't available on the internet, but the good part about it is that it is highly priced. It is about $7,100 per kg. Second good point is that only one company has got the approval from USFDA to market it. In India, there aren't much, like there are 7 to 8 pharmaceutical companies, but more or less we can definitely deduce the fact that Newland is supplying to FA Incorporated from this information. And definitely the previous process would have included the high material cost and low yield, so they came up with this new process of using some sort of amines from this particular group, which definitely improved their scalability and impurity. Coming to indactrol acetate, this is a bronchodilator, the therapeutic area. It is used for asthma and chronic diseases. That's the application. If we see again one of the good place to be is in the approval. The formulation companies who have got approval is just one company, whether it be USFDA or Europe. Novartis is a company which has got that approval. In terms of price, it is very expensive and highly priced. It is being priced around $25,600 per kg, so a very expensive molecule and definitely a good place to be in, because also even in terms of manufacturers in India, there are only 4 except Newland, so definitely a good market to be in.
Epixaben is the third new oral anticoagulant recently labeled to reduce the risk of stroke and systemic embolism in patients with non-valvular atrial fibrillation. The common analgesic drug epixaben shows a bad dissolution and tableting behavior due to its hydrophobic structure. Additionally, its high cohesivity results in low flowability. Another problem in its manufacturing is its high tendency to sticking to punches. There are 3 methods of tablet manufacturing, with the choice depending upon the dose, and the 3 methods are the drugs of the physical properties such as compressibility and the flow of the blend. Direct compression is a process by which tablets are compressed directly from mixtures of the drug and excipients without any preliminary treatment. A simple formula is considered to be composed of an active ingredient, a diluent, and an lubricant. The serious limitation of direct compression is use of more than 30% of the drug in the formulation, mainly for drugs that are present low flowability and segregation. It comes under the brand name of Eliquis. Its dose form is oral solids and the API technology is synthetic. Epixaben is an oral, direct, and highly selective factor XA inhibitor, which is both free and bound of FXA. And it was approved by FDA on December 28, 2012. The main players of this API are Dr. Reddy's Lab, Metrochem API Private Limited, Teva API, Natco Pharma, and SMS Pharmaceuticals. Aripiprazole anhydrous is used in managing symptoms of schizophrenia and of acute maniac and mixed episodes associated with bipolar disorders. process for the preparation of this API in type 1 crystals substantially free of other polymorphic forms via improved drying technique. The main disadvantages of this process is that US 528 patent is silent about the recrystallization condition and drying step necessary for the preparation of this API. The drugs that comprise aripiprazole are approved in many countries with trademark Abilify and to bring in the usage of the patients. Abilify tablet formulation includes starch, lactose monohydrate, magnesium stearate, and microcrystalline cellulose as a supportive agent. It's used for the treatment of schizophrenia as an atypical antipsychotic agent was disclosed in US patent and the main suppliers are Paul Pharma, Teva API, Newland Lab, Aurobindo Pharma, Jubilant Generics, and MSN Laboratory. Apremilast is a non-steroidal medication used for treatment of inflammatory conditions such as psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. It comes under the therapeutic segment of anti-psoriasis. The synthetic methodology employed to produce multi-kilogram quantities of a market-approved pharmaceutically active ingredient, for example apremilast, differ greatly from methodologies employed at discovery stage. Early stage discovery campaigns typically require the production of 5 to 10 mg of material. Such an amount allows for thorough characterization of physical and chemical parameters. Synthetic chemists operating at discovery level generally do not assess whether a synthetic route taken to access a molecule of interest is indeed scalable. In fact, initially it would be difficult to predict accurately whether a step conducted at small scale would be amenable for being implemented upon a large scale. Large scale synthesis that provides increase in chemical yield, decrease in reaction time, decrease in reaction temperature, and decrease in amount of catalyst or increase in favorability of reagents, reduction in side product formation, or more environmentally benign synthesis or increase in chemical purity is of interest to both chemical manufacturers and suppliers. Conventional column chromatography and high performance liquid chromatography HPLC are ubiquitous techniques and resemble the cornerstone of discovery chemists' purification. Unfortunately, these techniques are unsuitable for the production of multi-kilogram and multi-ton quantities. Such purifications will have to be performed if the target is high value or no feasible alternative exists. Consequently, any improvement in the ease of purification or isolation through telescoping of synthetic procedures or identification of an intermediate for recrystallization or removal of impurities through conversion into a transient intermediate or substitution for cheaper and more environmentally friendly, less toxic reagent, it provides an attractive and economically desirable goal. Practical achievement of this goal is, however, not straightforward, and even careful optimization of each individual parameter of a synthetic step on a small or a large scale will often fail to provide a workable advantage within a large scale synthesis. Apremilast was approved for use in European Union in January 2015. In 2019, Amgen acquired Otezla from Celgene for US $13.4 billion. In 2020, Otezla generated US $2.2 billion from Amgen. Apremilast is indicated for the treatment of active psoriatic arthritis in adults. Apremilast has received its first global approval for this indication in the USA. Regulatory submissions for approval in this indication are under view in Canada and Europe. Regulatory filings have also been submitted for Apremilast in the treatment of plaque psoriasis in USA and Europe. The main player or the key player are Dr. Reddy's Lab, Metrochem API Private Limited, Teva API, Newland Lab, Aurobindo, Jubilant Generics, Tran, Etaxylate, Mesylate. Used to prevent stroke and harmful blood clots if you have certain type of irregular heartbeat. It comes under the therapeutic segment of anticoagulant cardiovascular. This API was approved by FDA in 2010. The players of this API are Dr. Reddy's Lab, Metrochem API Private Limited, Teva API, Newland Labs, Aurobindo Pharma, Genmark Pharma, Jubilant Generics, MSN Laboratories, Sun Pharma, Lupin, Solara Active Pharma Science, and many more. Edaravone, sold as under the brand names Radicava and Radicat among others. It is an intravenous medication used to help with recovery following a stroke and to treat ALS. The label carries a warning about the potential for hypersensitivity reactions to edaravone and adverse effects including bruising, headache, skin inflammation, problem breathing, excessive sugar in urine, and many more. It comes under the brand name of Radicava. It was approved in May 2017 for the treatment of ALS. In Japan, Mitsubishi Pharma has been marketed for stroke since 2001 and is now generic. They started their phase 3 clinical trial in 2011. The players of this API are Dr. Reddy's Lab, Newland Labs, MSN Laboratories, Solara Pharma, and Gland Pharma. Enalapril maleate. It is used to treat hypertension, symptomatic heart failure, and asymptomatic left ventricular dysfunction. It has been proven to protect the function of kidneys in hypertension, heart failure, and diabetes, and may be used in absence of hypertension for its kidney protective effects. It is widely used in chronic kidney failure. It comes under the therapeutic segment of ACE inhibitor. It comes under the brand name of Epanade. Looking at the background, commonly marketed under the trade name of Vasotec. It was first approved by FDA in 1985 for the management of hypertension, heart failure, and asymptomatic left ventricular dysfunction. In 2018, it was the 135th most commonly prescribed medication in the United States, with more than 5 million prescriptions. The players of this API are Medichen, SA, Polpharma, Newland Labs, and Sri Krishna Pharma. Ipratropium bromide is used to treat symptoms of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and asthma. It is used by inhaler or nebulizer. Onset of action is typically within 15 to 30 minutes and lasts for 3 to 5 hours. It comes under the therapeutic segment of anticholinergic. It comes under the brand name of Atrovent. Driving into the background, ipratropium as a therapeutic agent was developed by Boehringer Ingelheim, and its first monotherapy product was FDA approved in 1986. On the other hand, the combination product of this API was approved in 1996. In 2017, it was 216th most commonly prescribed medication in United States with more than 2 million prescriptions. The players of this API are Newland Labs, Biofor India Pharmaceutical Private Limited, and Amphastar Pharmaceuticals. Indacaterol inhalation is used to control wheezing, shortness of breath, cough, and chest tightness caused by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a group of diseases that affect the lungs and airways, which includes chronic bronchitis and emphysema. It comes under the therapeutic segment of long-acting beta agonist. In April 2020, the Committee of Medicinal Products of Human Use of the European Medicines Agency recommended granting of marketing authorization in the European Union for Enzer Breezelo, a new asthma treatment which includes an optional digital sensor. The same was approved for medicinal use in the European Union in July 2020. The key players of these API are Newland Labs, Lusochimica SPA, Jaico Chemical Industry, and DKSH. Labetalol hydrochloride. It is used to treat high blood pressure, including high blood pressure pregnancy. It also used to prevent chest pain caused by angina. It comes under the therapeutic segment of alpha and beta adrenergic antagonist. It was granted FDA approval on 1st August 1984. In 2017, it was the 211th most commonly prescribed medication in United States with more than 2 million prescriptions. The key players of this API are Solara Active Pharma Science, Teva API, Newland Labs, Srini Pharma, Cosma, and Unichem Labs. Levetiracetam, sold under the brand name of Keppra. Among others, it is a medication used to treat epilepsy. It is used for partial onset and tonic-clonic seizures. It is taken either by mouth as an intermediate formulation by injection into a vein. It comes under the therapeutic segment of anticonvulsants. This API is available as regular and extended release oral formulation and as intravenous formulations. The immediate release tablet has been available as generic in the United States since 2008 and in UK since 2011. The patent of the extended release tablet will expire in 2028. The branded version Keppra is manufactured by UCB Pharmaceuticals Industry. In 2015, Aprecia 3D printed orally disintegrating tablet form of the drug was approved by FDA under the trade name Spritum. In 2018, it was 97th most commonly prescribed medication in United States with more than 7 million prescriptions. The players of this API are Solara Active Pharma Science, Dr. Reddy's Lab, Teva API, Jubilant Generics, MSN Laboratories. Linezolid is an antibiotic used for the treatment of infections caused by gram-positive bacteria that are resistant to other antibiotics. The main uses of infections of the skin and pneumonia, although it may be used for a variety of other infections including drug-resistant tuberculosis. It is used either by injection into a vein or by mouth. It comes under the therapeutic segment of oxazolidinone antibiotic. It comes under the brand name of Zyvox. It was approved by FDA in 2014 and is considered generally more effective and tolerable than its predecessor. 9th November 2017, Linezolid manufactured by Macleods Pharmaceutical Limited have been pre-qualified by the WHO pre-qualification team. Medicine under its active pharmaceutical ingredient pre-qualification procedure. The key players of this API are Dr. Reddy's Lab, Teva API, Jubilant Generics, Newland Labs, Macleods Pharmaceutical Limited.